Hey guys, how about a race report for the Glen Vegas Gambler 2024? So, great race this year. We'll just say right off the bat that it went off wonderful. We didn't have weather problems. I think weather might have kept a lot of people out. So, shout out to SMBA and Bike Surgeon Gabe for getting this race going. Probably, making sure it was taped, making sure it was untaped, and helping tons of people. Pat helping out with all he did and organizing the race. Sean on the grill, getting the food for everybody. We had Crystal at the start finish, and I want to throw out a special thank you to Kay for hyping everybody up out on the course and making sure we didn't miss that important turn. Thank you a lot. So we had a great kids race, a lot of youth at this race, and that was great to see. I don't think this race has always had a kids race and not enough kids, but they had a great attended kid race here, a lot of fun. And I wish I'd had something like this when I was a kid. Maybe it would have got me getting into mountain biking and racing a lot earlier than I did. So, weather was looking to be an issue. They got the kids out a little bit early, and then they decided to go ahead and throw sport and expert together. Expert started in the front, and we just went right after them, which is fine because those guys are going to be gone. Experts did 2 laps. Sport did 2 laps. Beginner did 1 lap. Pretty small beginner race. I think there was like 4 or 5 beginners. So, like around 15, 16 in expert, 15, 16 in sport. No women this year, so we need some women. There's our finalists there. That's a great looking podium. Okay, so at the start finish line, I've not got a lot of video. I'm using my GoPro 9. It didn't mess up this time, so I got some good footage here. Got a little zip tie sticking out. So if you could see way out in the distance there, that's Chris Henderson, our local pro, I guess you could say, Paducah pro on Nashville Local Cycling, who ate it hard. It like washed out hard in this kind of loose gravel. He's hopping back on his bike right there. It felt almost bad for me to pass him because I'm like, I shouldn't be passing this guy. I almost wanted to say, go ahead. I know you're about 1 million times faster. Watching him race a bike when he's not crashing in the opening turn, take that back. But most of the time, it's like watching somebody who's like playing on a totally different level. Like I'm playing 1D chess and he's playing like 6D chess or something. But anyway, I'm behind Hank, and how'd that work out? It's just crazy. So me and Hank are kind of, I don't want to say, it's a friendly competition. I beat him in a mountain bike race. He's beat me in the last 2. So now it's my turn, and spoiler alert, I do end up beating him. I come in 9th place, so, not a tremendous victory on my part or anything, but I felt good about 9th place. I will say that I put out more effort on this ride probably in 2 hours than I have ever put out in my life. I was really hyped. I didn't feel great going into it, and I had did some trail work and stuff Thursday, so my back and body was a little sore, so I thought that wasn't going to be so good. But in the opening, miles opening section of a mountain bike race, you certainly can't win and you certainly can lose, because last year I remember a guy doing some kind of crazy pass through here and crashing. I mean, it's like Chris back there. I'm like, if he wasn't just so much better than the rest of us, that would have been his race right there. But that guy managed to get his bike straightened back out, get it shifting again in a few minutes, and then take off and get to the front of the race and win by 2 minutes. So, really intense rider. So we're on the easy lake loop section right now, and things are moving pretty fast. I don't have great video from this. I wasn't too worried about. It wasn't on my mind. In fact, a couple things. I did a couple things really wrong on this. First off, I didn't get my actual decent GoPro mount, and I bought this. I have this crappy one that it can't really keep the GoPro from not getting loose. You can't get it tight enough, and I went ahead and threw it on the bike. It's also kind of a heavy, so between that mount and the GoPro stuck on my handlebars, I carried around, for sustenance, some nutrition on the ride. I carried around a bottle of honey, like a 12-ounce bottle of honey, which I'm assuming, it feels like, I don't know what that weighs, but it's probably at least a pound. I don't know, a 12-ounce bottle of honey. I carried around the bottle of honey. I had a Camelback, and I had a bag of gummy bears, and I took 1 bottle. And the Camelback had just a single packet of liquid IV, which I should have put like 3 in there, because I think last time I did that, but I put I put it about half full, and I added 2 liquid IV packets. So I filled it all the way and put 1. So it was really weak. The Camelback is good, on a mountain bike ride because you don't have to fumble with your bottles. You can drink more frequently. But honestly, I was breathing so hard and riding so hard, I barely had time to drink, and I probably should have drank a lot more. And I probably didn't get anywhere near enough electrolytes because I rode this thing super, super hard. I did manage to eat about half the bag of gummy bears, but I never even touched a bottle of honey. So sitting there thinking about, like, if I had got rid of the Camelback, which, it's not that heavy, but I only drank half of it. I carried around the full Camelback. If I ditched the Camelback, if I ditched the jar of honey that I didn't, or the honey bear that I didn't actually ever use, if I had, there's probably a few things else I could have ditched for weight there. Would it made a difference? Probably not, but maybe it would have helped. So anyway, I don't really have any great footage from this race because, as you can see, my camera's slipping down. You can't even see what's going on in front of me, and I was too worried about actually racing and not making making video. To be honest with you, in a mountain bike race, anything where you have to switch the video on and off, if you can handle that and also have a good race, you're a really awesome, racer and video maker. Because for me, I can barely focus on just keeping my bike on the trail, and I was like, is the video running, recording? I don't know. So I don't really have any good video clips of anything interesting happening. There's this one dude here. This kid is on the side of the trail. He said he was okay, but so as you can see here, Hank is not in front of me. He is behind me at this point somehow. I will be honest, I thought Hank was just messing around with me because when we hit the first big climb there, Fred's Run, last year he rode away from me like I was standing still, like I didn't have a chance. And this year he was kind of taking it pretty easy up the climb, and we had about 3 or 4 riders go around us. And then finally I made the decision to go around. Really pegged my heart rate up. I tried to stay with the 2 guys that were in front of me, and both a lot lighter than me and very strong climbers. And I probably should have not tried that because I ended up not staying with them in the long run. After Fred's Run, you do roller coaster. At the bottom of roller coaster, I was completely blown out. And then you got to climb this thing. And I was just really struggling for here. And I thought, well, any second Gabe's going to, not Gabe, Gabe's way ahead at this point. And I said, any second Hank's going to blow by and say, you thought you were doing good, but you suck. Ha ha ha. He would never say that. But anyway, I just kept thinking, there's no way that I'm going to beat him on this ride. Because, Hank he was so much faster than me last year. I didn't even have a chance. But anyway, somehow I stayed in front of him, and I'm going to make this pretty short because I really don't have anything else interesting to show you. There was a guy who crashed in front of me trying to let kids pass. We had a lot of youth who come up from behind us because they had a youth race, I think, that started 5 or 10 minutes after us. And those kids came up fast behind us, and they wanted to pass, and they're they were really nice about it. They were passing on the right. And I'm like, I can't figure out which is right. At that time, they're passing on the right, and I'd go right. And it's I felt so stupid. And I was my brain is so fried and so completely blown out. I was trying to get oxygen into it, and they'd be passing on the right, and I'd go right, and they'd be I'd almost run them off the. And I'm sorry, I meant to. It's almost like I was being a jerk, but I swear I wasn't. But they were trying to do that, and there's 2 of us, and the guy went off, and he caught a big limb, threw his bike down. He popped off. His front wheel came up and got stuck in mine. Earlier, I had to stop and pee. So, that's never happened to me in a race, but I think I'd had so much fluid, so much to drink. I thought that would really help me. So, I didn't suffer any of the issues that I sometimes suffer in hard efforts. I didn't have any chest problems. I didn't feel like I was going to die. I had no trouble keeping, my pace up. That's not true. I dropped my pace a lot, but I had no trouble keeping my breathing and heart rate up. I averaged 161 beats per minute for the race, and I hit pretty much my max heart rates a couple times, I think. So a little bit different courts in this year, a little bit more single track. I think they threw the baby's arm section in there, and they seemed like it was just a little more single tracky than last year, maybe an extra half mile or mile of single track. But It felt a lot harder than last year. The course was a little bit soft, a little bit sticky, but for the most part dry and fun to ride, no problems. But it just seemed like, there was an extra climb, I think, from last year. There was a little switchback section, which I actually really enjoyed climbing. But yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful day. It'd be really cool to, like have the fitness and the watts per kilogram to be up front a little bit higher. But I was really glad with my place. And I was also really glad. Right here is where I was like just about to, like, I was like, you got to go around me, man. I'm sorry, I'm blocking you up. I can't hardly think straight. But yeah, really glad. I mean, it was a really safe day. The fastest rider was the only one who really crashed. He must be okay because he rode his road bike right after the race. I saw on Strava that he rode today, so I think he's fine. We had one new rider who fell and hurt his hand a little bit, but it was just a bandage, so no big deal. So yes, always good to have a good, safe race. I have really not much else to show you. I would say when Hank gets his video, there'll be some really nice footage in it because he had 2 cameras going and he was doing a way better job. He wasn't breathing as hard as me, by the way, so he did a probably a lot better job making a video. But so right now it's 2 Golson races, 2 races to Golson, 2 races to Hank, and we've got 2 or 3 more mountain bike races. We got the Klaus Crusher next, and then we've got the Touch of Nature Catalyst to finish off our grudge match for the year. So looking forward to it, and thanks again, guys, for putting on a great race. If you missed this year, put this on your schedule for next year. It's a ton of fun.